crossing the chasm curve from knife capital, right? And if you look at the crossing the chasm, first of all, obviously, every founder super excited initially, lots of enthusiasm, and then the reality kind of hits in. You kind of start going down. Your enthusiasm starts going down, and then this is where you start really facing lack of traction, right? You're facing lack of traction. And if you look at most of the university entrepreneurship programs or any entrepreneurship program out there, they will teach you customer discovery, business plan all day long, right? And which is great, because if you get that wrong, nothing is going to go right. But once you have that product market fit, once you know that you're solving the right problem, and once you know that your solution is somewhat unique and sticking, really where everybody fails is the traction, right? Everybody fails is the traction, and nobody teaches that. Why? Because they are not practitioners, right? They're not practitioners. So this is where the challenges starts happening. Different reasons for crashes. Opportunity cost is a big reason, right? We all know that. A lot of people actually don't get started because of opportunity cost. Even the ones who get started, if you don't have traction for a significant period of time, then the opportunity cost becomes more and more daunting, right? More and more daunting. And as a startup founder, one thing I learned myself, this being my second startup, and also was part of other startups where I was, C-level executive, is, the real founder thinks about two things, right? One is they don't think like opportunity cost. They don't think in terms of opportunity cost. They think in terms of acceptable risk, right? Number one. And number two, am I moving forward? Am I making progress? Am I hitting my milestones, right? These are the two things they look at instead of thinking about how much I'm losing if I were doing some other job in corporate, right? So that's one. And then your execution really, once you start seeing some traction, your execution starts coming into play, right? Basically, this is the point from where you really need to start building a more operational funnel, right? And really drive that as an operational process. And you need several different, other skills. You need networking skills, but more importantly, you need skills to be able to get some capital, because now you may have handful of customers and proof points, and you really need to scale. And few people cannot scale. So that's where the funding skills come into play. Once those are in place, then you are into this growth and scaling mode, right? So that's just a quick reality check in terms of what happens for most of the startups. And that's why people say more than 90% startups fail, right? Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, there is one interesting quote, I came across, right, which is from the author of Art of Startup Fundraising, right? He says, the best entrepreneurs are not the best visionaries. The greatest entrepreneurs are incredible salespeople, right? They know how to tell an amazing story. Really, storytelling is key, right? Amazing story that will convince talent, investors, not just that, even customers to join the journey, because a lot of your initial customers are going to buy into that vision. A lot of your initial customers are going to buy into that vision, and not everybody, but some of them will, right? And same thing with your team, your talent, and your investors. They will join the journey if you are able to tell that story, right? So let's start telling story. Let's start telling story, not so fast, right? Not so fast. Let's make sure that we have a clear plan before we jump the gun. Number one is, as I said, the part one was covered by my friend Ido Sari, who was a VP of marketing at Intel. And the part one was about how to create an effective marketing plan. So make sure you have the plan ready. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of wasted effort and a lot of wasted dollars and a lot of frustration, right? And a long tail. The second thing is, if you don't have your segmentation, targeting, and messaging nailed down, right, then even if you have a decent product market fit and you have some initial proof point, your marketing campaigns are not going to go anywhere, right? Who are you selling to? That's the most important question, right? Who is your target persona, right? Number one. Number two, what are you selling? What pain point are you solving, right? And how uniquely you are solving them. What are the significant benefits you are able to deliver that some of the alternatives or competition is not able to deliver? And then how do you message this, right? In a very simple, crisp manner, right? Because you will have in your messaging, you will have to have one or two point of parity, but you will have to actually highlight your point of difference. or the differentiation really, really well. And also demonstrate that that point of difference actually results into significant customer benefit, right? Significant customer benefit. Because if you have a point of differentiation, but that really doesn't deliver significant benefit for the customer, it's of no use, right? So let's make sure the basics are there, right? Let's make sure the basics are there, because I'm going to jump into sort of the mechanics of how do you build your pipeline and how do you actually start driving conversion pretty quickly.